Today, I am going to walk you through the Conversations tab. That might sound like what's in the Conversations tab that is so important that it would warrant a whole training. But if you guys know you've been with High Level for a while, you know that it has changed a lot. So there's a lot packed inside of that little Conversations tab. So I wanted to go through it today so that you know where everything is and how to really utilize the Conversation tab. This is actually the main tab that I stay in all day, every day, is the Conversations tab. So I wanted to make sure that you guys know how to utilize this because it's such a valuable resource. Before I get started, just note that inside the Conversations tab, as long as you have your Instagram account connected into High Level, which you go to Settings, Integration, connect all these things. Connect your Instagram, connect your Facebook, connect WhatsApp, whatever channel you want to use needs to be connected to High Level. And then, of course, we get like text messages and emails and phone call recordings and AI conversations and all of those things can all be found in the Conversations tab. That's why it's such a valuable place for you to actually work in your business every single day. Just keep the tab open. Okay, so this is the Conversation tab inside of my demo account. Now, the very first thing you'll see here in the top left-hand corner is the ability to create a new conversation. Now, there are two ways that you can have a conversation, and one is with your contacts, and one is with your teammates. So you can, if you're using, for example, like ClickUp or something like that, so that you can communicate with your team members, you actually don't need to have that because you can have conversations with your teammates just like you can your contacts here. Okay. So you'll see here, if we needed to search between the contacts, we can hit the little magnifying glass there. And you'll also see that we have different sections here in this inbox. Now, this is your inbox, meaning whatever user is logged into the platform, this is going to be everything relevant to them. So if you have like 3 team members, they're all going to see different communications in this My Inbox because it's going to be catered to them. Now, the team inbox is exactly like it says. It's going to be communications for the team members, at least the team that is tagged there. Then you also have internal chat. Okay, so team inbox is actually, now I'm a little bit like, what is the difference between team inbox and internal chat? Because let's see here. So team inbox, let's figure this out together. What is the team inbox? Let's see, recent. Oh, okay. So this is for the entire team and then internal chat. Okay, I get it. So if it's in the team inbox, it's all the team. If it's internal chat, it would be like if I had 3 team members and I only wanted to have a conversation with one of those team members, then I could have that in the internal chat. Okay. So that's what all of that is. So that helps you to organize all of those things. Now you have your unread messages, and then you have all of the messages here. Let me go back into the inbox. And regardless of which inbox you're in, it pretty much looks the same as far as the options that you have available. So you'll see here, I have no unread messages. I can click here and go to all of the conversations. If I click to recent, it shows me all the recent conversations and then the starred ones. I'm actually wanting to find a conversation since this is my demo account that I can show you all of the different options in there. So let me go to recents, assigned to me, followed by me. Let's go to all. All right. So let's go to, okay. So regardless of how you get to a conversation, unfortunately, I can't show you my real account here. So that's why it's a little challenge to find the demo. Inside of the Conversation tab, you will see all of your unread messages here and all of those contacts. You'll see all of the contacts here, all recent conversations, and any starred conversations. So maybe if you want to follow back up or it's like a power partner or something like that, you can star that. You also can click here to select different conversations. And of course, you can delete them. You can mark them as read. You can mark them as unread, star, remove star, and like I said, delete. Now let's go ahead and if we can select all of these, we can also filter here to sort them. So if we want to sort and filter by engagement score is less than, or we would probably, if we're choosing engagement score, say greater than, we could say 3 and or let's say and filter type, let's see, and the assigned user is demo user 1. So if we want to sort all of these conversations based on this criteria of engagement score greater than 3 and assigned to demo user 1, we could even build out even more. We click apply, and then now it sorts all of those messages, which you can see none of them actually fell into that filter. I'm going to X out of those so we can see the conversation. Okay. Now, inside of these conversations, you see you can click through here and you're going to find out everything that you need to know about this person here in the Conversations tab, because you'll see over here their profile actually shows up. Okay. Now, when I say profile, what I mean is if you go to contacts here and you click on a specific person, now their profile shows up. If we go into the Conversations tab, and we click on this person, you'll see the beginnings of their profile over here. Now we can also click here and then open up their profile in an individual window, just like we went to the contacts tab and we clicked in that. So you see, these are exact same things. Now, if I wanted to send this person, Bridget Bartlett, a message, I just need to come down here and I can start typing in the box. Okay. Now I can also choose any of these other options here to send a message. I could send a text. I could send WhatsApp if I had WhatsApp connected. I could send an email or even an internal comment. Okay. I also have the ability to use any of these editing options just like any other standard email. Okay. I can CC, I can BCC, all of the things that you normally could do. Now, if you ever notice that your from email is different than your business email that you want to send from, like if you are a user and you're noticing that this, instead of your business email, it's your personal Gmail, that's because you need to go into the settings and you need to change that profile email to be your professional business email. We've talked about this so many times. It has a lot to do with your email sending domain. It has to match that. If you have questions about that, when I open it up for open office hours, you can definitely let me know and I'll explain it further. But this needs to be your professional email address that is attached to the email sending domain. So my email is info@myvisionagency.com. My email sending domain is office.myvisionagency.com. Okay, so those things need to match. You'll also see your name here and the email that you're sending to. You can also click here and then it will expand that email if you need more room to write. And then we can click here to minimize it. You can also click here to minimize that entire window. Now, I also love with the communications tab, like you can scroll through here and find all of the communications. If I wanted to check out this specific email, I can click there and I can see exactly what was sent, what the conversation was. I can also click here and get details about the email, even that it came from Lead Connector, that it was opened. I have the outbound email that was sent at this specific time. So that's lots of information there for us. I can also scroll down here and check out any of these other things. I can also see in the timeline of this customer, the opportunity created and the time or any other actions available here. Now over here on the right-hand side, this is where I'm getting into the contact details. So it's just going to show me here what you can see here. Okay. So you'll see all the same options, but it is rearranged a little differently. So you have your lead's name here, and then you have all of the different users of your account or team members that you can assign to this contact. So if you have like a sales team, or maybe you have just maybe customer service, or however you want to assign those people, you can choose the one here or build that into your automations. Now, if you have multiple people involved in helping this client, you can actually select multiple, and then those become followers so that they can keep updated on the contact as well. If you want to see any of the tags that this contact has, they're going to be listed here. You can also click this button and then you can add individual tags here. Okay. You'll see it, all you got to do is select it and then it shows up there. If you need to delete it, you can do that. But you'll see here, there was an automation attached to that tag. So that's why we see that new message popped up down here. We have all of the fields available here for this specific contact. We have the engagement score. We can see the engagement score is 4. We could also add more if we wanted to. Like maybe this contact, we're having a conversation and this contact has said, hey, I'm ready to sign up. And maybe for those people, I want to add an extra 5. I could do that manually here. Or again, I could build that into my automations. So we see the contact's name and details. We could also add a phone number or an email here if they had multiple that we wanted to attach to this profile. We also have the, of course, first, last name, email, and we can click here to verify the email to make sure that it's correct. We could also click here to exclude from the email verification if you have email verification turned on in your sub account. And again, I have training on all of this. If you have any questions, you can ask me as soon as we're done with this presentation part. We have the phone number attached to the account and we could label it here. If you wanted to add new phone numbers, you would just do that here. We have the date of birth, which it is great to collect that, especially if you want to send birthday messages. You know, I have a cool automation I created in Nifty Images that sends out text messages to people. I have since turned that off since the Texas law got a little weird, but you can do it for text or email. And you can create a really cool custom image and, you know, to say, happy birthday, Bridget Bartlett. So it is cool to collect that. But of course, to be able to do that, you have to have the birth date. You also have the contact source. So where did this come from? We have the lead type. We have the preferred contact method. This is actually a custom field that I created so that I know, you know, their preferred contact. What is your phone number? Best time to contact you? All of these are basically custom fields and folders that you can build in here. Now, when I tell you custom field and folder, I do want to show you, if I go to the settings here, because I think it's important to see how everything links together, you'll see that I have in custom fields, I have all of these folders. Inside of these folders, I have all of these custom fields. So you'll notice this is contact, general info, additional info, onboarding. You'll notice when you go into your conversations that you do have all of these same fields. We have contact, general info, additional info, onboarding, something called Form 19. So you can really customize this to make sure that all of the information that you need for this specific customer or contact is all right here, relevant in this specific area where you would be having those conversations. Okay. These are all of the fields. You can also go over to D&D. So if their email is invalid or text or whatever their calls, you can disable any of those here. And then you also have the Actions tab here. So if I want to see any workflows that this contact is active in, I can come here and I can see, okay, they're active in the $60 plan workflow. If I want to remove them from that, I can click this little X to remove it. I can also add them to any workflow and choose the day and time I want it to start. And if I want to see their actions inside of this workflow, I can click this little like square with the arrow in it. And when I do that, it actually opens up that entire workflow here. And I can see where the contact is. And I can also see all of the execution logs to basically track if there were any errors or whatever. And of course, I could toggle between all of these different settings and the enrollment history and the execution logs. If I want to see any of the past workflows that this is in, and this is really, really important too, because sometimes I'll notice some wonky things in the profile and I'll think, or I get a task created for me and I'll think, this isn't even relevant. What workflow? How did this get added? This makes it really easy to just come back to all of the past workflows and see, was that custom field in that workflow. How did this task get created? This helps me narrow it down, because if you have lots of workflows, obviously you're going to have to dive through each of those individual workflows. And it also makes it easy because you see the little square with the arrow there that takes you right to those workflows. Okay. Troubleshooting really, really easy that way. Now, oftentimes too, you will want to add someone to like a course offer that you have or a specific community. And it's real easy to do that here by just selecting the offer that you want them to have access to. And you'll see, as long as you have automations set to go out, when you grant someone access to the offer, you'll see that automatically triggers. And now they've been granted access to that offer and they have received the email. So if you want to see the email, this is what it looks like here. Now, also the same thing for the community. If I have a community I want to add them to, then I could just select that there, and then now they're added to the community. Okay, actually, I just removed it. So I'm going to add them there. Now, if we want to change the password of their account, this happens a lot. Sometimes they'll say, oh, I need to change my password, or I'm not getting the password reset email, which you could click here to send them the link to reset their email. But there will be times when, for whatever reason, they're not seeing it. Maybe it went to spam and they're not checking the spam folder. Maybe they didn't remember what email they used. You can always come here, change the password for them, and then just send them a message like, hey, I just updated your password. Here's what it is. Now, you also can check out the audit logs. So if I click here, this actually takes me to the audit logs in my account, if you guys didn't even know that exists. And you can check out all of the different actions of that contact here in the audit logs. Okay. Now, over here, of course, if I wanted to open up that contact in a new window, I could choose this option here. But over here on the right-hand side, you'll see there are also additional tabs. Okay, so this is the contact details. This here is the activity that is being tracked from this contact inside of our account. So you guys may not have even known this is an option or it exists. But every website that we have inside of HighLevel, and this is a great selling point as well, if you have clients who maybe are using like Wix or something, which is a terrible website builder. But if they're using something like Wix, you can say, hey, we can actually rebuild your website here inside of our platform. And this allows us to actually track all of the actions from your contact inside of your account because we host the website. So you can see all of those actions taken there. And in this case, they filled out a form that's a widget. And so if you click here, it will actually take you to that form that they filled out. Okay, so there's all kinds of ways for you to use this to track all of the actions. And it's really, really important when it comes to troubleshooting. Now, you also have some associations here. Now, this is for custom objects. So you can build out custom objects. You can also like add, for example, if there are two contacts in the same house, I mean, you can really get super advanced, but here you can add the opportunities here, add this contact to an opportunity. You can add to a new company or an existing company, and then you can also add to the property listing. Now, the reason that we see these two things here is because these are custom objects, and you'll see those custom objects that I built in this demo account. They're listed here. You'll also see them listed here. Okay. Now, you may not know custom objects. You may not have even a use case for them, and that's okay. Don't get overwhelmed by everything that's possible. Just know if the time does come where you need custom objects and you build them out, you'll be able to see them over here when you're talking to your contacts. Now, I love to use the task manager inside of HighLevel. You can build out in your automations, like when it gets to a certain step, create a task. And then when you do that, you'll see your tasks listed here. You'll also see them if you go to contacts. There's a tab up here that says tasks, and we'll go through all of that in another day. But just so you know, if you have any tasks assigned to this specific contact, it will show up here. Now, to add a task, so maybe you are having a conversation with this contact and they say, hey, I'm going to ask my partner about this. Can you follow up with me tomorrow? Then you can create a task for yourself, add a description. We have all of these rich text options now, which we did not have before. We can also add the due date of this task and the time. We can click this for a reoccurring task. So maybe it's something I need to follow up with a teammate or a partner or something that's a reoccurring task. I can actually set that up here. I can also assign this task to a different user or myself, and I can click here to associate by the different custom objects. Okay. I can also add notes to the profile. And again, you can build this in your automations or you can manually add a note. So if I'm talking to this person and I offered them a promo code and I want to make sure to add a note here to remind myself, I gave a 10% off promo code. That is good until, and then we could add a date. Okay. So why would I want to remind myself of that? I can definitely set the coupons to expire. But what if this person contacts me and I see in the conversations tab and they're like, hey, I'm trying to use the promo code, but it's not working. And I should have changed this to a 5. And I look at my notes here and I see, oh, I gave them a 10% off promo code that's good until 11/1. But now it's 11/2, and that's why, because it's expired. Okay. So that just immediately lets me know what's happening instead of me having to go dig around and figure out why isn't his promo code working. When you create your note, all you got to do is click save. And then now you'll see this note is displayed here in the notes section of this contact. Okay. So you can see here the associations. You could also come back and edit or delete that note as well. Now, if I'm talking to a contact and I want to see any past or upcoming appointments, I can use this tag here or this tab, but I can also click here to actually schedule an appointment when I am in the middle of the conversation. So lots of times we're tempted to just send a link, but it's better to just say, hey, what would be a good time for you? I have a day open, tomorrow at this time. Would that work for you? Or how about this time? So you may just want to work through that just to get the appointment scheduled. You can select your calendar here. And again, this is a demo account. I don't have a calendar, but you can select the calendar you want to book on, give it a title. You could even add a description here. You can select the time zone. You can also select this to update the contact time zone to your own. You can select the default. The default means like your available working hours within the calendar that you've selected. Now, if you want to create an appointment outside of those available hours, like for example, I only take private consultations on Friday, but let's say that I'm trying to book an appointment with like a partner and they're only available on like Tuesday morning, then I can go ahead and select whatever that available time is. And that way I can make sure it's on my calendar and they're going to receive all the reminders and everything I want them to receive. Okay. So that's what custom would be for. And then of course you can set this as a reoccurring event. You have the default calendar here, and then you also have custom settings here for specific to the appointment. So you can select custom here, and then you can add your meeting location. So this one is going to be the calendar default meeting location. This one is if for some reason you, instead of using your default, you wanted to send them to another software, that's what that would be for. Now you also have your contact listed here. You can check out, of course, their profile. You can add any internal notes that you need to here and then book the appointment. You could also make it unconfirmed or confirmed here. And when you book the appointment, it will show up here as an upcoming appointment. Now, you also can have forms where your clients can upload documents. And when that happens, you'll see those forms added here. Now, if they share it in an email or something, you may need to come to their profile and you need to update the document here. So all you have to do, click here to add the document, and you can choose the section. You can click here to add the document, and you can even share the documents on the client portal, which is really cool. Of course, you can check the internal sent or received documents here. Now, the last section here is the payments section. This is really important because you want to see if someone contacts you and they're like, hey, I can't get access to my account. The first place you want to go is the payment section. Do they have an active subscription? Is that subscription active and valid, and did they miss a payment? Do they have a failed payment? All of that is listed here. You can see any invoices or estimates that have been created. And you have this option here where you can add a card on file. You can choose to charge them now, create a subscription, create an invoice, manage the cards, or even create an estimate, all right here in this tab. Now, you do have these options up here as well, where you can search for all the conversations. Like you can say, I want to see all of the text messages that I've received here or that I have access to. You can actually call out. So if I wanted to, from my business line, of course, you need to have your business phone number set up here inside of your account. But if I wanted to call this particular contact, all I need to do is click here and then it will call them. I also can archive this conversation. I can add this conversation to my favorites. I can mark it as unread, or I could actually delete the entire conversation by clicking this little trash can here. If I have a message down here, you'll see you can actually choose, or you'll see the AI bot here. So if you did have an active AI bot and you wanted it to deactivate, you could actually just choose inactive so that it's silent and not responding to those conversations. Okay. What is this? Okay. I think this is new. Well, this is definitely new, but I just saw this. The same shortcuts, you remember when I did the training Friday on the advanced workflow builder, we have all of these shortcuts. We now have shortcuts here inside of the conversations tab. So that's awesome. You can just use the up and down arrow to move between conversations and select multiple conversations and so on. You also have these shortcuts here for the conversation actions, the composer, and then the contact actions as well. So shortcuts definitely help you to speed them up, especially once you start using them, then it just muscle memory takes over and you're like a beast in the workflows or the conversation tab using those shortcuts. Okay. That's how easy it is to utilize the conversation tab inside of your HighLevel accounts. And if you don't have a HighLevel account yet, go ahead and go to myvisionagency.com, check out all of my bonuses, and we'll get you set up.